Hi, my name is Lynn Isenhower. You may know my parents, Pastor John and Nancy Bollinger. Mom wishes she could have come with us this weekend. I'm with a nonprofit called Matthew 2540, and I'm here today to share a little bit with you about this ministry and our recent mission trip to Guatemala. In 2013, I went to Guatemala for the first time with CTK Church in Charlotte, where my brother, Craig, is the pastor. There, I met a local pastor, Erica Shahan, who, in addition to starting a church, was offering daycare and meals to the area children, many of whom spent their days roaming the streets looking for food. I also met these three children, twin girls aged 9 and their brother aged 7. They spent their day home alone, locked in their tin shack with a dirt floor, while their mother worked 12 hours a day in the city. She barely earned $1 a day. That wasn't enough to send them to school because even the public schools required they buy their own books and uniforms. Pastor Erica dreamed of a better future for these children and her community. Thinking I was answering God's call, I began sponsoring these three and came home and asked others to do the same. In 2014, I returned, and this picture is made in 2015, but this is the family. I was overwhelmed to learn they had a brother. Younger brother, Jonathan. Mom couldn't afford to keep us all at home, one of the twins said, because we didn't have enough money. So she had sent him away to live with relatives. Now, since you're sponsoring us, he can live at home. Could he come to school too, please? Please? Of course I said yes, while I was choking back my tears. In 2015, we became a 501c3 named Matthew 2540. My husband David, who is a physician, began joining me on our trips in Guatemala so that we could do checkups on the kids who are now attending a full-fledged school. Every year we've been back except during COVID. People from all across the U.S. join us on these trips, and many denominations, including several who have been members here at Grace. One of the benefits of returning every year is that we get to witness firsthand the growth of the children. This is one example. This is one of the twins. She is now studying to be a CNA, and her goal is to then work as a CNA while going to nursing school, and she wants to come help us when we come back and run our medical clinics. We also see others growing physically, mentally, and spiritually, and they also learn that we're there for them for the long term. They see examples of different professions amongst the team members, and they ask many questions. I know they asked my son, who's a chemical engineer, do you have to have math to do that? How much math? I like math. Maybe I could be that. So what do people do on a mission trip? Well, this is an older example. We built some beds for this young lady who is now a teacher at our school. This is her entire family. The two older girls, are now involved in worship service, both helping to lead worship service in addition to one teaching. The older boy supports the whole family. He's a CPA. This is church worship service on the Sunday we were there. And you can see the two girls in the picture are those two young girls I pointed out. Pastor Erica is on the left. Her sister Damaris on the right lives in the U.S. now and works with the Spanish ministry at my brother's church in Charlotte. She and her family went to visit their family in Guatemala while we were going to be on our mission trip, hoping that if we needed their help, that they could be there for us. And it turned out we did, because 2 weeks before we were to leave, my husband's translator could no longer go. Another one of the girls, the one on the far right with the hammer, she now is the nursery monitor. The kids will get in your heart, and that's the big reason to go on a mission trip with us. They'll live here forever. When you arrive, they're going to be so excited to see you. This is about half of the school on our recent trip. Due to COVID, only half could be there at any one time, so you'll see older children in later pictures. This is Pastor Erica on our recent trip. She does about everything to keep this community going. We have a school nurse. You'll meet her. We're currently looking for a new sponsor for her salary, but she has been sponsored in the past by a church out of West Virginia. You'll get to see the classrooms, the children, the teachers in action, the computer lab, which is also computers that we bought through Matthew 25:40. And all these facilities were built with funds given through the ministry to support the school. Team members do a little bit of everything. Apply fluoride to teeth for school children, check their vision, dispense reading glasses so they can see their books better, and participate in projects. We were taking them to the water park later in the week. That required swimsuits, so I had, with team monies, purchased swimsuits over the years, and it was a lot of fun for them to pick theirs out. These two ladies typically cook for us when we're there. This is the team. You'll notice the Haas's there in the front. We eat lunch and dinner every day on the site where we're working. For the first time this year, we had a female physician join our team. This is Dr. Lisa Santana. She is from the Dominican Republic, but she lives in Greenwood, where we live, and works at Self Regional. The women and girls came to health sessions that she led, talking about female health issues. And they just really opened up to her about the issues of abuse and STDs and issues that affect them every day in their lives. This is a ministry that we're going to continue. She's already said that I'm going back next year unless you tell me I can't, and we'll never tell her that. If we're running a medical clinic, you might be checking blood pressures, checking temperatures, doing the glasses, applying fluoride, and you can see why that's a big need. They don't have pure water, so they're going to get cavities, and because they don't have water in their homes, they drink a lot of sodas and sugary drinks. This is my husband running clinic, and in the background you'll see Pastor Erica's sister, Dawn Maurice. The young man in the blue striped shirt is her oldest son, Josue. He is 12. He spent his entire week with us running translation for the pharmacy team. Sometimes mission team members have to count pills if we're running short. This is the community in which Pastor Erica is laboring. The first time I walked these streets, I did not know I was walking by people's homes. These are some of the kids at school. There's a typical toilet in their homes, their water source. If you've got to carry your water in, that's why you don't drink a lot of it. They will share a communal kitchen, communal cook stoves, and many people will live in one house. These two young men, that's them several years ago when we built them a bed. That's the entire size of their room. Before we built the bed, they were sleeping on the ground, covered by garbage to keep themselves warm. I don't think you can do real well in school if that's your sleeping arrangement, so team members will participate in projects like that. The school also has an outreach ministry in a local community about an hour away. It's a predominantly Mayan community. The older women and men speak only Quechua, which is a Mayan dialect. But Pastor Erica wants her children at the school to learn to serve others, so they will go there and distribute food, clothes that they have, do Bible school. So she always asks us to go and run a medical clinic, so we do. They're lovely people and always very grateful for what we bring and for what we offer. The lady in purple here speaking is our Quechua translator. So she will tell either our Spanish translator, or in this case, since Dr. Santana is fluent in Spanish, tell her what the lady's saying, and they can conduct the exam this way. Pastor Erica always takes something. This time she was making hot chocolate, and we passed out hot chocolate through the clinic. It was a great treat for some of these kids and their families. The typical pharmacy, it's very well organized by what kind of medicines are in which row. And another group of ladies in my town, not in my church, made a lot of knit caps. They asked what could we use, and knit caps are very much needed. This community is at 7,000 foot elevation, so it's cool at night, actually chilly at night. And without windows and heating and air conditioning, people need the warmth. I also will do a fundraiser on Amazon, a wish list of Bible storybooks, coloring books, and in this community we will pass those out to everyone because they have very little. This lady is in her 80s and she had no teeth. She didn't want to take the toothbrush. She said, save it for somebody who would really need it. But could I have one of those Bible story coloring books and the crayons? There's always a story that will really touch your heart. Kids here typically go to school through age 12, and then I'll go back one. Then after that, you can see he's got his work boots on. He's working in the fields to support his family. Many of them wish they could go to school further. They don't have that option. They can't afford it. Someday, maybe, we'll be there too. This was the entire team this year. You will notice on the back row is our team. We're 9 of us. In the front on the right is Damaris, our translator. Her husband is in the back left. Their 3 boys are around the sign, 12, 10, and 9. They all worked in our clinic. And his sister was along, so she and her daughter helped as well. The school will always put on a show for us before we leave. They want to thank us for being there. They'll put on skits, Bible stories. I'm sure you can guess what this one is. And when he rescued or found the lamb, the whole school was cheering. They'll make posters and cards to give the team expressing thanks. And another thing that we then like to do at the end of that is hand them all an age-appropriate Bible. It's probably the only book they have, so we spend a good bit of money on these. This is an action Bible which depicts Jesus as a superhero. It's pretty cool if you haven't checked it out. There's one in English. These kids are having like 2nd grade readers. You can see they're very colorful and they are a big hit. At the very end of the week, the team will have to count all the medicines up because we want to know how many we used, of which kinds. We want to be able to separate out those that can be left with the school nurse to dispense to the children safely and which need to be disposed of. And then we have a little free time. Since we've been staying in a hotel in Antigua, which was the colonial capital of Guatemala, we'll spend half a day walking around the colonial capital, doing some tours or shopping in the market. And then there's always the outing, which the kids really look forward to. This year it was a water park, and we happened to be the only people there except for one family, so it was great. Team members loved it as well as the kids. I tell you, those water slides were pretty amazing. They took the food, cooked, and had picnic. That's what you do. Midday is the big meal, so they didn't want the kids to miss out on that big meal. And that's the whole group. At the end of the day, teachers, staff, team, all the kids. Now, this screen shows some numbers. We always put those out. We have to have them for our 990s. How many people did we see? It's necessary for us to track this. But what's really important is the relationships we build with the kids. That happens to be a view down over Antigua. That's a dormant volcano called Agua in the background. And next year's trip are these dates. You can contact me for more information on how that would work. This is where we're operating. We have rented land, and they took that space, put up some tents, put up some temporary, I don't know what you call those, milk crate things, and then built a school around it. The kids alternate coming. It's for this reason, this is going to be the church, that we're seeking to buy land so we can build a permanent facility, something like this, where we can provide stability for the community, vocational arts, a garden, a nursery. All these things will then allow us to better serve this community. This is the entrance into the land that we have agreed to purchase. It's appraised at $525,000. The owners offered it to us at $285,000, and we've raised all but $83,000 at this point. So our big goal right now is to try to move from the red block to the green block by getting that $83,000 raised. And the reason we do it is for this. As you can note, the little boy has got my son's hands clasped right over his heart. Because when you go That's exactly where these kids end up. I'd like to close with a short video. Thank you.